we're going to learn how to style our HTML form using CSS. So in our Day5 folder, we have our index.html, our style.css file. So in our boilerplate, we are going to connect our style.css file. We go to folder Day5. Then inside our CSS folder and style.css, inside our body element, we are going to have this header using CSS to style an HTML form. Then inside our body element, we're going to have a div and then write form. We won't have any action here, so we will just leave it as empty. Then we're going to have a label. So we'll have a label for fname, right? Label for fname, and then we'll give it first name. Activate your browser by clicking on the live server. And this is how our browser looks like. We have our label for first name. And then we're going to have our input type text with an ID of fname and name with first name. Then we're going to have a placeholder. We are going to write your first name. Then I'll copy the label and the input type. We'll copy and paste it down here. Then we will change the label to be lname, and then we call this last name. Give in the ID will be lname here, and the name will be last name. Our placeholder will be your last name. Then we are going to have select value. We have select with an ID of country, and name is also country. Then we'll have an option. An option value will have Kenya, and we're also going to write Kenya here. Then I'll copy paste these 2 times, hold on Shift, Alt, and the downward arrow. Then we rename this to Uganda, we rename this to Tanzania, and then the value Tanzania and Uganda. Then we have another input type. Now this type will be submit because we want a button, and its value will be submit. Now go to style.css file so that we can now style our form. We will begin with our input type text. So we will write input into brackets, type, which is equals to text, and a comma to select. We're going to give it a width of 100% with a padding of 12 pixels and 20 pixels, a margin of 8 pixels and 0. Then we're going to give it a display of inline block with a border of 1 pixel solid, #CCC. And then we're going to give it a border radius of 4 pixels and border sizing of border box. Next, we are going to style our input of type submit. We give it a width of 100%. Give it a background color of #for CAF50. And then our text, we'll give it color white. We're going to have a padding of 14 pixels and 20 pixels, and then a margin of 8 pixels and 0. And we're going to have a border. Our border will be none. Let us remove the border. And border radius will be 4 pixels. And we change our cursor to pointer. The next thing we are going to style is our input type, submit, when it's on hover state. So the background color will be #45A049. The next thing we are going to style is our div. So we come here and write div, open and close curly braces, and then we say border radius will be 5 pixels. We give it a background color of #F2 and a padding of 20 pixels. And You can see now how our form looks like. We have styled our form using the CSS styling. And that's it. That's how you style an HTML form.